I need to learn to start posting fucking alerts first before streaming. Why is it streaming that shit? What the fuck? Alright. Oh dear. Alrighty, let's see if we can get some people in here, but you know what? Fuck it, I think I'm just gonna start. It is so late, there's probably nobody on. But you know what? Fuck it. Welcome back, everybody. I am your narrator, Fallout Sheppy, this evening. Afternoon, morning. Whatever time of day it is for you. Today, I am going to try, emphasis on try, to do a dramatic reading of the infamous Clockwork Your Time Is Up. Now, mind you, I could not for the life of me find the original Wattpad upload / original creepypasta.org upload. What I have here is creepypasta.com, which I'm not sure if that's an official creepypasta website or what. Would have thought creepypasta.org was the original. Whatever. Point being, this is a, corrected version that I found, as in there's probably a few less typos. Probably? Maybe? I don't know, it's still got the same opening, so I'm pretty sure it's the same story. But, if it is indeed the wrong story, which I already know it kind of is because, again, there's corrections, I kind of glossed over it. And from what I can remember of Michael Lois reading, there was a lot more errors than this one has. So, I guess we'll find out, won't we? Alrighty. So, here is an attempted dramatic reading of Clockwork Your Time Is Up. Cringing already. Now, also, before anybody says anything, yes, I realize that the thumbnail does not match the story at all. I'm aware. It's mostly because I didn't want to bother trying to find somebody's work to use as a thumbnail. Mostly because I don't give enough of a shit about this story to do that much effort. So I'm just gonna, get that part out of the way. Before somebody goes, why is your thumbnail a wolf howling at the moon? That doesn't make sense. You're reading Clockwork. I just have a feeling. I know those kinds of people are out there. They have not come across my channel yet, per se, or if they have, they haven't left any comments. So, we'll see. We shall see. 19 minutes. We shall see about that, too. A little girl sat in her room. Her messy brown hair was put into little pigtails as her hazel eyes stared at the door. She hugged her stuffed giraffe close to her little body and listened closely to the loud yells of her father and mother. Oh yay, I get to do voices of parents. This is always fun. I need water. I will be right back. Professional streamer, everybody. Yep, I'm done. It is right here. I am dumb. I've had my water here the whole time. Please feel free to bully me in the comments. shouldn't have said that out loud. My mom's home. She's gonna walk in and go, "What the fuck are you doing?" Oops. Already misreading. "I never should have had any damned kids," screamed a loud, deep voice. "All they do is make messes, complain, and draw on the walls." He was interrupted by the shrill, angry yell of the girl's mother. "They're children, David! They don't know any better!" Oh, I shouldn't do that voice. My poor microphone is peaking. Changing that already. "They don't know any better." "Oh, fuck me, Mary Beth. I don't want to hear your bullshit excuses. I've had just about enough of them." "Children are acting like children. Send them to the brig." I'm sorry, but this is like... I get it, yes. There are such things as, like, abusive parents because they just can't handle that kids don't know any better. Like, I get it. I'm pretty sure this is over-exaggerated, though. "And what are you planning on doing about it?" The girl heard loud footsteps. Let me scroll, thank you. The girl heard loud footsteps coming towards her room, and she hugged her giraffe closer. The door opened violently. Waboosh! And in the doorway stood her large... Oh, not me. Professional. In parentheses. Oh, counting money. And in the doorway stood her large, infuriated, overweight father. In one of his meaty hands, he held a large textbook.
Paper plates and trash bags.
If you can't tell, everybody is home. "David, stop it!" screamed her mother. And there goes my... What? Oh, oh, Ma. I thought he said stop. I'm like, no. "David, stop it!" screamed her mother. But the father ignored his wife's pleading cries. He grabbed the little girl harshly by the collar, and she screamed and kicked, trembling in fear. The girl's father held up the textbook. "This is for drawing on my fucking walls, you little bitch." And then there's a bunch of asterisks. And a time jump, apparently. So what the fuck did he do? Did he hit her with it? I mean, I'm assuming that that's what they want me to think, but, like, could have just, like, yanked her out of her bed, sat her down at the table, and, like, forced her to read it. Like, just... It seems like a far worse punishment. Also, I apologize if I make any jokes that, like, people have already made about this. It's just really hard not to make the obvious ones. I'm trying to think what else he could have done with the book, though. It's like, sat her down and then read it to her, and it was, like, very boring. Maybe it was a how to take care of a dog so she could learn some responsibility. I don't know. I'm being too mean on this dramatic reading already. And it's supposed to be a dramatic reading, not this shit. You know what? You want to know what I'm missing? I know exactly what I'm missing. Ooh, not that. Just knocked over a shot glass. It's full of Q-tips. I mean, I do drink, but my shot glass is full of Q-tips. All I heard was if you sat your butt on it right.
You know?
Don't do drugs, kids. Fucking fan. Clockwork, the dramatic reading where you watch a stoner struggle to take a bong hit. Let's continue. Years later, the little girl, known as Natalie, was now 9 years old. Going through the stage of puberty, she was naturally a little chubby. I don't know, I wasn't chubby when I went through puberty. I was chubby, like, after, for a while. But I don't remember. Whatever, hormones, metabolisms, things change. It's understandable. Again, though, at 9. Who am I kidding? I know people who've had their period at 8, so, like... Puberty is weird. Like the usual, I'm pretty sure that's not how you use that. She sat in her room, watching TV. Her dad was ranting on about some economic crap that she really could give less of a shit about. So, like, how much of a shit do you give, then? If you could give less of a shit. Pro tip, for anybody that, you know, speaks English. If you say you could care less, you give a shit. If you say you couldn't care less, or, for emphasis, could not care less, then boom, you acknowledge that you can't give any less of a shit than not at all. Just English 101. As she munched on some popcorn. See, this is what I mean by I'm pretty sure it's been edited, because there was, like, originally a lot of unnecessary shit about, like, munching on her popcorn or something. Oh, I'm dumb. That's further down. Whoops. Sheppy, shut up. She was also currently drawing a picture. There was a bit of gore in it, but strangely, she liked drawing blood. You into Guro? Follow my page. It gave her some weird satisfaction. Yeah, she definitely into Guro. And what can I say? I'm into it. I draw it. People pay me to draw it, so, like, I cannot shame her. I can shame her for doing it at 9, especially since, like, nothing really has happened. I mean, it's implied that there's abuse, but they leave it so vague that it could literally go anywhere, and you just think, wow, this kid's just fucked up, isn't she? At least that's the vibe I get. I don't know. I don't remember, like, being into drawing gore at 9. I mean, like, later on, when I got into middle school, I was like, you know what? I want to know about human anatomy. And so I started at the literal basics, drawing organs. And what happened? I found it entertaining. It turns out people would pay me to draw it, and boom. I get commissioned once in a blue moon to draw it. That took, like, a really weird, like, detour, and we're 13 minutes in. This is why I said we will see about that 19-minute read time. It's because I detour like a dumbass constantly. And yes, you are allowed to shame me for it. I give you full permission. Not currently receiving data. Oh, what? Oh, that's from way earlier. I'm dumb. I need to focus on the other screen. Oh, that probably hurt my microphone. Other than that, multitasking was no problem for her. It became apparent to her at a young age, after having to do so much hard work and labor. What hard work and labor? You never described any hard work and labor. Like, give a little more exposition. Exposition is not your enemy, author. I don't care if it lengthens the story by like 5 minutes. Elaborate. Give some kind of context to this shit. You can't just say hard work and labor, but not show any hard work and labor that she has done. It's kind of like firing off a bullet from a gun that doesn't exist. don't work. And she was able to do so many things at once. Drawing ended up being her talent and passion. It was her way from escaping from reality. Okay, maybe it's not as edited as I thought. Maybe I'm just dumb. But then again, I did only skim it. Whenever something bad would rear its ugly head and peer in, or when she was simply bored, she suddenly heard the closing of her door and looked to the left, pausing on munching on her popcorn. That's the line. It does still exist. There stood her brother Lucas, who was 14 years old. Great. This character is A+. Totally great. What is it? She could still hear her father's yelling from outside her door. Dad scaring you? He let out a chuckle. No way. I think we're both used to his yelling by now. Yeah, they did correct it, because now it says we're instead of were. So, like, they corrected some, but not all. Got it. Lovely. You know what? At least that means it's still terrible. Oh, wait, even if it was perfect grammar, it would still be terrible. There was a long pause. So why are you in here? He played with his sleeve slightly and twitched a bit. I have something to ask you. He trained his eyes on her. She frowned slightly, growing impatient with her brother interrupting her movie and drawing. What? He moved a little closer. You said you wanted to be cool and grown up, like a teenager, right? Oh god, I don't like where this is going. She nodded and suddenly brightened up slightly. Well, I have an offer. Oh no. Just spit it out, you dimwit. You know what guys and girls do together sometimes, right? Oh no, this is gross.
Sorry.
It's all good.
I need $2.
I need about $3.50. I need about $3.50. South Park.
Yeah.
I think I got. Yay, I do have ones. Okay.
Thank you.
Ye-
Okay, how much?
Woo! Sorry. Alright. Where did I leave off? You know what, guys? Oh, never mind. I found it. Realize where I left off. No. Just no. You see this? You see this? No. This is a no to future authors. No. And before anybody goes, oh what, you can't handle rape in a story? It's not that. I just know that this is going to be handled obscenely poorly, and that makes it bad. If you can handle it with dignity and grace and in a way that's completely unoffensive to actual victims, then by all means, do it. Especially if it does add context to a story, or, you know, it becomes a plot point that's important later on, that is a reason behind a character's actions and thoughts, and, you know, then it works. This is haphazardly thrown in, and the only time it is ever gonna come back is at the end when she kills him. Calling it. I barely remember I barely remember the actual original reading I listened to. I remember the beginning, then I spaced out on the other two parts, but I just know that this is gonna be badly handled. Just watch. Just watch. This is gonna be very poorly handled. And I will be heavily disgusted. I already am disgusted, and it hasn't even got to the worst parts. Like, at all. The next day at school, Natalie did not say a word. Surprised it doesn't say the girl known as Natalie. I'm sorry, that's another nitpick. Sorry. Did not say a word. She did not speak for the whole day. You need to capitalize that. She didn't have anyone to speak to anyways. Nobody could know. Nobody should know. And so nobody would know. Another non-capitalization. Her teacher picked up on a few of her puzzled expressions, but she dismissed it as if she just did not understand the lesson. No, not gonna stop and help the kid or ask, hey, are you understanding what we're talking about? Yeah, not gonna do that at all. You know, you can tell the kid's having issues, but no, not gonna say a word. No. Not a thing, you know, I've never had, like, a teacher notice that I'm rubbing my temple like I've got a migraine and go, do you need to go to the nurse's office? Like, just completely out of nowhere. And shit like that. If a teacher picks up on you acting oddly, they're gonna ask, you wanna go to the office or something. Okay? They're not just gonna let you sit there and, you know, be unable to learn or focus. The only time that happens is when it's a substitute or the rest of the class is being complete cunts. You know, or the teacher is somebody that hates kids and is just working it because they have tenure. Which also happens, sadly. Natalie also felt, you could use she a little more. We know that this is all Natalie. Also felt as if she was in severe pain. She had no idea it could hurt. Feeling scared, she walked home and silently went to her room. But later in the day, she was once again greeted by her brother. Nobody would know. At school, she finally decided to tell someone. Even though they weren't her friends, she just felt she had to. She walked up to a group of girls she would occasionally see in the hallway. They all looked like nice girls. And they and Natalie had occasionally... You don't need to have Natalie in that sentence. We know who they would be talking to. This is mostly from Natalie's, like, from somebody's perspective of watching Natalie, okay? We know that it's Natalie that they are going to speak to and have spoken to. Like, stop using Natalie's name so much where it's unnecessary. It doesn't make you a literary genius to constantly switch between she, Natalie, and then later on the girl known as Natalie. Like, it doesn't do good. It's just a little bit frustrating and kind of grammatically tiresome. I don't know if that's the best way to put it. They and Natalie had occasionally talked before. Hey, Mia. The ginger girl. I don't know why that makes me laugh so much. The ginger girl looked over at Natalie with a straight face. Yeah? Mia said to Natalie. I really need to talk to you about something. I'm pretty sure that this is supposed to be in like quotation marks, but they got rid of the beginning quotation mark instead of just adding one where it needs to be. I really need to talk to you about something. It's been going on for a while, and you and your friends, well, I feel like you're the only people I can trust. Mia and her friends seemed to pull little smirks, but only for a moment. Little did Natalie know that they were hungry for gossip. Of course, because, of course. Gotta have the bitches in the school. And of course have them be the ones that she ends up telling it to. Because, there isn't the possibility of one of them being understanding. There's supposedly a few of them. It says a group. So that could be anywhere from 3 to 5 or more. Yeah, no offense. One out of them would be sympathetic. Or at least, empathetic, and one would at least be sympathetic. Just, this is beyond bullshit right here. What's about to happen. I can feel it. Especially since I can just see the word Facebook right there. Alright, you can trust us. What's up? 1 day later was all it took. Unnecessary comma. She had been getting constant remarks on social networking sites, such as Facebook. We all know what social networking is. We all know. One time, someone even called her a whore. Yes, because when you're raped, you're the whore. Well, actually, if you've ever been on Twitter, especially during the Me Too situation, there's a lot of debate about false accusations and stuff. So, maybe nowadays, but when this was written, bullshit. Because I'm sure this was meant to take place during present day at the time that the person wrote this. But, like, it is still utter bullshit. Not to mention, their lunch, wrong there, had ended up getting in her hair. They don't explain how, they just say it got in her hair. It was going to be the least of her problems, but Natalie, being only 9, could not help but be greatly upset at this fact. See, and that's why this is utter bullshit. There's no way other 9-year-olds would treat an abused / raped 9-year-old like this. There's no fucking way. Unless, those kids are completely and utterly pieces of shit. Like, raised in really shitty households, and they're lashing out because, hell, why the fuck not? It makes them feel better, but, like, at 9. Especially in an American school. I'm sorry, I don't know many 9-year-olds. I know, like, 2, actually. I shouldn't say that, but I do not know of many 9-year-olds that, would gossip like this. Like, maybe in middle school where they're like preteens to teens, then yeah,
$40.
probably. But like 9 years old, calling people a whore. No. Just calling a no right there. Could not help but be greatly upset at this fact. However, she did not cut, she did not peep, and she never said a word about it. That's what not a peep means. She did not peep means she never spoke. So this is redundant. As you may recall, so far in this journey, this is not a journey. This is not a journey. This is like sitting back and watching the world shit on a child. This is not a journey by any means. I do not care to call this a journey. Maybe a walk through the valley of the shadow of death. She had kept everything inside. She supposed it was better. She wouldn't let any pain get the best of her, and author gave up on, correcting capitalizations. More asterisks, because, as if you can just say time jump. 3 a.m. school night. Her mother was going to kill her. Because, gotta include the mom being a bitch. Even though in the beginning she was defensive of her kid. The girl known as Natalie, we know what the fuck her name is. Shut the fuck up. Swear to God, write Natalie one more time. I will throw a brick through somebody's window. No, I will not actually do that on stream, because then that will be evidence. She was productive in high school, close to the honor roll. For once, she felt calm and happy. Though, like the usual, that's not how you fucking... It's like usual. Like usual. It's not that fucking hard. Like, Jesus Christ. Tempted to get an account on here, work my way up to admin just so I can fix this shit. It's starting to get to me. This was supposed to be a dramatic reading. This has turned into a deconstruction of the goddamn story. I'm so... going insane is what's happening. I am literally going insane in front of all of you. Losing my fucking mind. Losing it. Like usual, she would occasionally fucking kill me. though she would occasionally become a hermit in her room, hiding away from her dad, who still liked to constantly yell and scream about the economy, money, and politics, and all of the other bullshit that she was flat out tired of hearing. I was about to, say there that sentence is much better, and then I read the whole thing. Kill me. Please. I'm begging. Her eyes started to feel heavy. She had an assignment to work on, but that was no longer important to her. All that was on her mind was sleep. She closed her laptop, and after her eyes adjusted to the darkness slightly, she saw her old, worn-down stuffed giraffe in the corner. She stared at it, in complete and utter silence. Memories passed through her mind, and she felt tears come to her eyes. But quickly, she blinked them back. No more breaking, she thought to herself. I'm pretty sure that once you're broken until you go to therapy, you ain't fixed. You can't just keep breaking what's broken. And if you broke before, you were still broken. But she continued to stare at it. "What the fuck are you looking at?" she said to the stuffed object. God damn it. My tongue. It simply stared back with soft black beady eyes. Yays. What the fuck is wrong with my voice? She shook her head and stood up. She looked down sadly at the little toy animal and gently picked it up in her arms. She cradled it and spoke softly to it. I'm sorry." Some tears ran down her face. She pet its rough... That is not the right "it's." God damn it. She pet its rough, short fur softly as she lay down on her bed. She slowly went to sleep. She was woken up... I'm sorry, that was my fault. She was woken up by the angry growls of her mother. Exhausted, she slowly opened one of her eyes. "I can't believe I forgot to take that laptop away. You were on it all night, weren't you?" Natalie sighed and pressed her face deeper into the pillow, hugging her giraffe close. Her mother sighed and walked out. She took a shower, brushed her teeth, and ate some breakfast. Which one? I'm not kidding. Which? I'm going to suppose Natalie, because that makes sense. Or at least it would. But, like, they make no effort to specify which of them left to shower and brush her teeth. Now that there's two people, it is fine to refer to Natalie as Natalie when not referring to the mom. It's not that hard to figure out when it's appropriate to use names. It really isn't. But when there's two people in a room, it's a little bit more helpful to use names just a bit more often. Especially if you're gonna switch between which character is doing something. Then she got dressed. She put on a gray and blue hoodie with fur inside its hood. It wasn't her favorite, but it was the only one she could wear to school due to others being in the wash. I mean, completely unnecessary. She also put on black jeans and some thin, fashionable boots. Tempted to look up what quote-unquote fashionable boots would look like. But it might actually pull up fashionable boots. You know? Like, good-looking boots. I don't know. Is there such thing as good-looking boots? People with foot fetishes help me. Or shoe fetish, technically. Oh, God. Finally, she went down the stairs to get driven to school. She hopped in the car and her mom sped off. However, on the way there, due to lack of sleep, she slowly put her head against the window of the car and began to drift off. Her dreams, or more accurately, nightmares, consisted firstly of her physical abuse as a child, and secondly of the sexual abuse she had suffered at the hands of her own brother, Lucas. Great. She started twitching and cringing in her sleep, but her mother took no notice. Her mother never took notice. Suddenly, she was jolted awake by the sound of her mother's voice. "We're here!" her mother said with annoyance in her voice, most likely from catching Natalie napping again. So, yeah, now they're just turning the mom into a bitch. Because, God forbid that she be the same protective parent from the beginning. Have an actually likable character, because they're not bothering to make Natalie likable. They're just bothering to make her sympathetic. That's great. You can have a sympathetic character all you want. I like sympathetic villains, anti-heroes. I like sympathetic characters when they're actual characters. Natalie is a walking sack with a name and, traits, which consists of being a girl and being abused. Congratulations. You created a cardboard cutout of a being. Ugh. The abuse had lasted for 4 years before she had the guts to turn him away. She started... Oh, I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I did not read that right. I missed, apparently. Oh well. Her mother said with annoyance, caught Natalie. She looked at the large sign of the school, which read, Walkerville Collegiate Institute for the Creative Fine Arts. Dumb name. Stupidly long, dumb name. Especially since it's not even a creative arts college, since she's about to go to language classes. Something that is not necessary in a creative arts college. She sighed tiredly and stepped out, putting her backpack on her shoulder. See ya, she proclaimed and closed the car door. She walked into the school and chatted with a couple of friends until she went up to her locker on the third floor. She grabbed her books, and before the 5 minutes of time was over, she ran to class. I only got 2 minutes to run between my classes. What the fuck? Oh, well, different kind of school, I guess. Whatever. Her English I'm on the right line. Her English teacher annoyingly put her hand on Natalie's desk. Where's your assignment, Miss Olette? Is that supposed to be Olette? As it, Olette, the Final Fantasy character? Because you spelled it obscenely stupid. Stupid is the word of the day for this stream, everybody. I am stupid. This story is stupid. I don't know. There ain't even anybody in the chat. I don't care. I am so tired. This story is very exhausting. So exhausting, I'm getting high. Smart, Jay. Real smart. Miss Olette. Natalie swallowed. I forgot it at home. Sorry, Miss Homenwick? Homenwick? Is that even a real name? Oh, it is a real last name. Okay. It doesn't give me a pronunciation, though, so... But, wow, okay, so we actually have a real last name. But is this a real last name? Oh. Okay. I will eat crow on that one. I will eat crow on that one. No, I won't. I will drink hibiscus water. So, on the bright side, the names aren't as made up as I thought they were. Downside, I still can't pronounce them. I'm pretty sure. Your time is up, Miss Olette. Don't disappoint me. Natalie seemed puzzled by the thought for a moment. I'm sure you're puzzled by thought, author. Okay, I can't take credit for that joke. I'm pretty sure I got that one from the bad creepypasta reading. Pretty sure. She didn't know why, but those words seemed to melt through her. I was about to make a joke and then my brain stopped. That's gonna happen a lot during this reading, I'm sure. Apparently I'll do a lot of that too. She simply ignored it and went back to listening to the lesson, and falling asleep not too long after, of course. I can't complain. I fell asleep a lot in school. It's actually not a difficult thing to do. Not proud to admit it either, especially since half the time it was like my favorite teachers that I would fall asleep in their class. Later that day, she was heading to her locker for 4th period, when suddenly her boyfriend Chris approached her. Hey, talk to me after school, alright? She smiled. She loved talking to Chris. At the time, she didn't suspect anything. Sorry. Fallout Sheppy Belch compilation when? I'm not gonna lie, if somebody does make that, and you happen to have like a coffee or a PayPal, I will donate to you like $3. I will donate $3 minimum. If it's an excessively long compilation, I will probably add money to that. But for now, I'm gonna state that if it's made, I will donate $3 to the maker. Chris was always so sweet to her. I've been watching a lot of Dylan Thomas, and so I hear Chris, and I think Chris Chan. Which, I think that was also a joke in the bad creepypasta reading. I should totally link that. You know what? I should link that for, like, other people to watch. Because it's also got Huda Hoodlum's Revenge, and I adore his content so much. He is excellent and funny, and I love his random creepypasta readings that he's been doing lately. Go give him a look if you haven't already. Back to the story, I'm sorry. During her French class, Natalie failed to pay attention. See, wait, why are you in French class? What the fuck does French class have to do with Creative Arts College? You know what, one sec. I know I keep... Sheppy, this is supposed to be a dramatic reading. What are you doing detouring again? I have to know for sure whether or not there is a such thing as language classes in a creative arts college. Classes in creative arts college. Lone Star College consists of 5 colleges. Language and creative arts. Foreign language to learn a new language to improve career skills. So they can go hand in hand, but it's not for creative arts colleges. It's for do we frequently use theoretical? Nope, I'm clicking off of that. But like it's not to a college strictly for art. Those were all listings of like universities and stuff that are like cover multiple subjects. So pretty sure either A, she doesn't actually go to a creative arts college and the name is just stupidly long because they thought it sounded smart, or B, they presumed that because you can do creative arts and language classes in other universities, you can in a creative arts college. Could be either or. So, I'm not going to give it a point, but I'm not going to take away a point. Just because that one's a little bit debatable. It's a little debatable. I will give it that. That one is a tad debatable. Kind of for stupid reasons, but still debatable. Instead, she doodled the things she loved to draw the most: blood, gore, people being stabbed, knives, and other macabre things of the sort. Oh, I'm sorry, I added other myself. Oops. And macabre things of the sort. Of course, because, you know, why not? It's a creepypasta. What character doesn't enjoy gore from a creepypasta, you know? It's because creepypastas have always been about normal kids, right? I don't know. I think I'm just losing my mind. Somebody tell me if I'm losing my mind, because I feel like I'm losing my mind. And usually, a sane person, when they start questioning their sanity, usually means it's a bad sign. I'm pretty sure I should be questioning my sanity, because I feel like I just went on a tangent for no reason right there. Others would say it was pretty dark of her to draw such things, but she saw nothing wrong with it. For some strange reason, it actually felt like a normal thing to her. I mean, if you're like me and you get paid to do it sometimes, I guess it is normal. Miss Olette. I don't know who is speaking. She quickly covered the doodles on her paper and looked up at her French teacher quickly, trying to hide her fear. Did you really need quickly in there twice? It's a little bit implied that she did both quickly if you have quickly. I don't know. Going on a tangent. I'm sorry. Yes, Mr. Lavoisier? If he's French, pretty sure that's pronounced Lavoisier. Maybe. Lavoisier? My face looks stupid. God, I am losing my mind. With a slight turn of his head, he gestured for her to move her arm. Show me your work! Okay, yeah, no, I do remember that one being from the bad creepypasta reading. I do remember that one specifically. She hesitantly moved her arm, showing her teacher the picture of someone getting stabbed by an insane man. Is it Jeff the Killer? Reference? I should totally read Jeff the Killer, too. Oh, God. The teacher stared, puzzled, looking at her a bit. She smiled nervously. Erase that and get started on your work, he said in a strangely calm voice. He into it. He's totally into it. It's the only reason he wouldn't send her off to the office for it. He walked away, and she sighed and began to erase the picture. And Miss Olette, Mr. Lavoisier interrupted. I'm just going to pronounce it Lavoisier. I like the way it sounds. She looked up at him slightly. Your time is almost up to get your work done. I suggest doing it now. She growled at the remark. Okay, maybe she's Christian. Let me show you my fangs. I'm not kidding. He does that shit. Look it up. It is funny as fuck. Time always seemed to be against her. As far as she was concerned, time could go fuck itself. So can you, Natalie. Wait, she's 16. I rescind my comment. You can fuck off. There. I don't know. I'm just uncomfortable saying that kind of shit, knowing the implication that this person is a teenager in the story. And probably so was the writer at the time. So it's like, ugh, it's creepy. It makes me feel like a creep. And I like to draw gore, so you know it's pretty bad when it makes me feel like a creep. I don't want to sneeze. I'm not gonna sneeze. Thank God. After class, she walked out of the school to find her boyfriend standing near the fence on the sidewalk. She smiled and walked over, hoping he had something to say that would cheer her up on this miserable day. But as she walked closer, her smile slowly faded. He wasn't smiling back. "Chris, what's wrong? What did you want to talk to me about?" He sighed. "Natalie, I think it's time that we should start seeing other people." She felt her heart break. "But why?" Natalie cried. He responded with a stern look. "It's your mindset and your drugs. They just creep me out. I think there's really something wrong with you. And the saddest part is that you haven't told me why you're acting like this. It makes me feel irresponsible. So I just can't do it anymore. I'm sorry." And with that, he walked away. And more asterisks, because they don't know how to just do a fucking time jump. They don't know how to just... Okay, pro tip, writers. The little tab button on your computer, yeah, that's so that you can offset a new starting paragraph. That's an easier way to mark the start of a new chapter without doing, like, dashes or all of these asterisks. They're very unnecessary. There are nicer ways to structure your stuff. Again, utilize the tab button. I never did. I failed computer applications constantly. Use the tab button. It'll make your paragraphing nicer. I swear. Read a book and look. It looks much nicer when you offset it. Natalie slammed her hands on the bathroom counter at home. She stared at herself in the mirror, her eye twitching. I won't hurt myself like the others. I can stay strong." There was a needle and black thread in her hand. "It's pointless. It doesn't help." Some weird sensation pulled at her subconscious. She chuckled slightly. Jeff the Killer Syndrome. I know that that's like just a fandom joke, period. Isn't it? Doesn't everybody make the Jeff the Killer Syndrome joke? You know, becomes a killer, went insane, murders entire family for no fucking reason. Or very, very stupid reasons. I mean, the father, understandable. The brother, understandable, even though it's haphazardly thrown in like it is. The abuse from the brother, that is. The death, it's totally, totally understandable. The mother, she fucking is, she's a worn down woman. Natalie, you're 16. She's been dealing with this big baby bitch of a husband for 16 years plus. Because your brother's apparently older than you. Yeah, when you were 9, he was 14. So that's a 5-year difference. Like, is it just me? Or, like, is it not understandable that the woman is, like, at her wit's end? See, that's the one thing I can forgive this story, is that it's a little understandable that the mom is kind of a bitch. She devolves over years of having to deal with a, like, utter cunt of a husband and, a rapist for a son. Oh, and a daughter that's slowly losing her mind. So, yeah, it's kind of understandable that the mom's a little bit of a bitch. I'm sorry that I sympathize with a woman that says you shouldn't be on your laptop all night. Like, fuck. I take back my one comment earlier. There is one good character, and that's the mom. Why? Because she's actually written kind of understandably. It's kind of. Still like a 1 out of 5 writing. Ugh. Fuck me. She chuckled slightly. No, I'm doing it because I want to. She held up the needle with thread on the end of it and smirked. Time is up. I'm fucking getting tired of these words already. Piece after piece, cut after cut. Even though excruciating pain was going through her, she did not whine, she did not whimper, she did not cry. There were no more tears to shed. All she did was smile. Blood leaked from the piercings. It is still a piercing, because it is piercing the skin. I'm getting way too nitpicky now. Y'all thought I was nitpicky before. I'm getting way too nitpicky now. And I'm high enough that I can notice. That's bad. I can hear Detroit Become Human music. I forgot somebody was playing that in the living room. I need to also eventually finish that. Might do that for a special stream. Blood leaked from the piercings and made a low dripping noise into the sink and onto the counter. When she was finished, she stood back and admired her handiwork. She stroked the horrendous stitches on the side of her mouth, which spread into a wide smile. She felt the warm, wet blood on her fingers and licked it gently, consuming the metallic-tasting liquid in pure ecstasy. Ugh, I don't remember this part. What the fuck? This is getting gross. And weirdly sexual. Please stop. She stopped when she saw her mother's reflection in the mirror behind her. Oh, thank fuck. And sharply turned around. She saw her mother's wide eyes and pale face, and she looked at her fingers, seeing the blood. She suddenly felt the pain and began to cry. Mom? Natalie cried. She'd never felt so confused. What had just happened to her? I don't know. What the fuck did just happen? You apparently stitched up your face, cut something. I'm guessing cut each individual stitch. And then fucking licked your own blood and apparently orgasmed from it. Which is disgusting to think about. Thanks for that image. You know, bad enough that you had to put child rape in my head. Now you also gotta put somebody... Ugh. Get that bad taste out of my mouth. Ugh. Oh, God. Her mother had scheduled some therapy for her. About fucking time. Natalie had not gotten rid of the stitches in fear of how much pain it would bring, so she went to the session with them. I forget what year this came out, but does anybody remember that Purge mask from the second or the third movie? Oh my god. Which one has the election? The second movie, I think. I don't know, the one with the glowing stitches across the mouth is it's like you're the poor therapist. So, you saw The Purge too? I think the first one was better, made a little more sense. It was still was not good, but it was better than the second one. The masks were cool. Sorry. Who's leaving? Okay. My brother is taking off back to his house. Oh boy. She made sure her hood was up as to not let anyone see. She sat down on the comfortable leather seat and stared at the blonde woman across from her in silence. So your name's Natalie, isn't it? Natalie nodded. Never mind. I'm Deborah, and I'm here to help. I'm sorry. Now tell me, Natalie, what have been some of your problems recently? Natalie stared. Time has been my problem. Deborah gave her a confused look. What about time, dear? Natalie's hands roughly gripped the leather of the seat. Everything. It makes you live through it, slowly progressing through life, being controlled by society. We live in a society. I'm sorry. Did you know the actual line is, what do you do when you live in a society that treats a man? And then the rest of the speech. Yeah. Sorry, I really like that movie. Only to be tortured to seemingly no end. Until you find you no longer have a purpose. It's a vicious circle. Time does not end. It does not slow down. It does not speed up. It is violent. It makes you live through the torture over and over again, unable to fast forward through any of it. Natalie really had no idea what she had just said. Neither do I, really. I'm very confused. Is it... I don't think time itself is violent. I believe you meant to say time drags out the violence. Giving them the benefit of a doubt here. Can only give so much doubt, but... she felt like she wasn't herself anymore. Natalie's not here anymore, Doctor. Somebody comment what movie that's from. I know it's from a movie or possibly a really good novel. I wish I could stop yawning. Could this be because of all the things she had kept contained? No, that was impossible. But for some strange reason, she liked it. The therapist leaned in closer. Sweetheart, I want you to tell me what's happened to you. Natalie continued staring. There was a long pause. She smirked slightly, the wounds from her stitches opening slightly once again. Why don't you tell me, Blondie? You're the expert. Deborah appeared mildly annoyed. Natalie, I can't help you unless you tell me what's wrong. Natalie's fingers started to tear into the leather seating. Natalie isn't here anymore. Oh, wait. Is that another joke and I didn't mean to reference it, or did it... I'm gonna just assume that that bong hit's finally getting to me. Like I do every time. Hope everybody's okay with that. With that, Deborah's eyes widened, and she rose to her feet. I'll be right back. Please, stay here. She walked out, leaving Natalie alone. Maybe if she had done something at this point, she wouldn't have come to be what she is today. Gee, you don't fucking say! It's almost like, I don't know, the kid needed therapy a lot sooner. Like after it fucking happened. Or maybe when her dad supposedly beat the shit out of her with a book, like you were trying to imply. And failed at implying. I'm sorry, I'm also getting very aggravated for, like, no reason whatsoever. My hand also feels very fat and gross. I think I need to wash my keyboard is what I need to do. Maybe more people would be alive. And maybe she would be sane like she had been before. Kid, I don't think you ever were sane. You like to draw gore at 9 because you got hit with a book. Again, I'm guessing. Because they failed at the implication. They just kind of hoped people are like me and will immediately jump to the conclusion. Some people will. Other people won't. As much as I would love to say that Natalie got up from that chair and stopped what came next from happening, I'm obligated to give you the horrid truth. Who the fuck are you suddenly? Where the fuck did this narrator, like, suddenly get self-referential from? Why? What is the point? Why? You are not supposed to directly speak to the audience in the middle of your goddamn story. As if you've referenced the fourth wall the entire time like a Deadpool comic. Like, stop it. Stop it. Get some help. Natalie did not move. She sat perfectly still, in total silence, and absolutely calm in that chair. And after a while of waiting impatiently, her parents walked in. Natalie stood, happy to go, but she noticed her parents' expressions. Even her father had a strange, saddened expression on his face. Her confusion grew, but she said nothing and followed them to the car. On the way, while she thought she was going back home, she started to drift off. Strangely, she heard a dark voice speak in her dreams. It almost sounded like a cliche, like her own, echoing into an eternal abyss. Your time is up. She shot awake, some beads of sweat rolling down her face. She wasn't home. She wasn't in the car. She was in a bed. A white bed. In a white room. She looked to her side and realized that she was hooked up to a heart monitor. She attempted to get up, but that's when she realized that she was restrained. She panicked. She began to struggle, but paused when she heard a door open to her left. A man in a white shirt looked at her, his hands behind his back. He resembled one of those cliched doctors. No! No! No, 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 no. No, 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 no. That does not excuse your bullshit. Just because you include cliched doctor into your story does not mean that the rest of the cliches are suddenly forgiven. No, that does not work like that. That's not how any of this works. I am getting mean. I am sorry. I was also mean to somebody earlier for good reason, but it's kind of rubbing off still. God damn. He resembled one of those cliched doctors you would see in a television program set in a scientific lab. She paid full attention as Mr. Scientist started to speak. I should have used this voice for the doctor instead. I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. I'm gonna do it. It's the only voice I'm really good at. Oh, well. I could. Somebody's gonna crucify me for this. I can only imagine how very confused you must be right now. That did not sound at all like Skeletor, I'm sure. He said, but I'm letting you know now, we're only here to help. Your parents agreed to allow us to administer medication to you, in hopes of helping your state of mind. Oh good, they got rid of the mental drugs. I kind of wish they had kept it. Your parents signed a waiver to give you some mental drugs. Oh wait, I have to do it in the voice. Your parents signed a waiver to allow us to give you mental drugs. Yes, it did originally say that. I'm not making it up. Like I said, I wish I found the original. This is not the original. This is somebody half corrected it. Quarter corrected it. Yeah, half is probably more. It's closer in, in being correct. Oh boy. In hopes of helping your mental state, your state of mind. Natalie opened her mouth to protest, but was quickly silenced. You don't need to worry, the doctor sought to reassure her. You'll be back to normal in no time. Just try to relax. He walked over, and as he did, she tried to skittishly move away, but was unable to due to the leather straps binding her wrists and legs. I just realized something. Why is that so necessary? What the fuck did she tell the doctors? What did she say? We got a Pazuzu incident up in this bitch? Like, what the fuck? Oh boy. I almost did the voice. He carefully took a mask and put it over her mouth and nose. She stubbornly tried to get it off, but felt herself starting to slip under as the drugs kicked in, and slowly her eyes shut. More useless asterisks. Suddenly, Natalie woke up. She couldn't comprehend what she was seeing. She was being given multiple injections, and something was being rubbed on her skin. What the fuck is that gonna do? Wait, she's here for mental issues. The fuck is dermatology shit gonna do for her? Is her dry skin what's making her insane? I can understand my dry hands, that once they crack, they kill me. Like, for real, what the fuck is the rubbing on the skin gonna do? It rubs the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again. She felt woozy, but was otherwise completely aware of her surroundings. Yes, because you can be completely aware and yet woozy as fuck. Totally. Like, you know what? I'm gonna be completely honest. For probably a week ago now, I was dealing with some really serious withdrawals from my sleeping meds, and when I got vertigo, I was very woozy. I was not at all aware of what the hell was going on. I thought the room was spinning constantly every time I stood up. The only time I was actually aware of anything was as soon as I laid down or sat down. Then everything became clear. But no, being woozy and being completely aware are very contradictory things. It might be that you didn't think woozy meant to be like out of it, drowsy, or even nauseous. Woozy is synonymous with a lot of different things, but for the most part, they all mean tired or lethargic. It's very hard for me to believe that you're woozy and yet completely understanding what is happening to you. She was entering a rare state patients sometimes find themselves in while undergoing surgery, in which they are able to see as they are being worked on. Yes, that happens when you are given numbing but no anesthetic. Or when you're given not enough anesthetic. In this state, they can feel the pain and their brain is active, but they are unable to respond. Natalie, however, being a special little snowflake teenager, was able to. 'Cause it's a creepypasta. Fuck reality. Fuck reality to the nth degree. Her heart rate began to accelerate as reflected on the nearby heart monitor. On the nearby monitor. I keep adding words for no fucking reason. And the doctors took notice of this. They looked at her and took notice of her open eyes. The doctors took notice of this. They looked at her and saw her opened eyes. There. It's not that difficult. You don't need to add so many extra... Was this like an assignment or something turned creepypasta? Were you supposed to like have a free-form writing class and you wrote a short story and you just thought it was so good that you had to upload it even though you probably got a D originally? That's the only reason I can comprehend why there are so many excess words. It's because you had to hit a limit. Suddenly, Natalie woke up. She couldn't comprehend. I'm dumb. One of the doctors yelled at another. Natalie couldn't make out what they were saying. Yet you're completely aware of everything that's going on. More contradiction. So fun. So fucking enraging. Why? Just why? Why couldn't you just give this to an adult to read and let them tell you this sucks, do it again, and change everything? Like, just... Why? I should just title this stream, Clockwork, Your Time Is Up. Why? I just spat all over my microphone, too. One of the doctors yelled at... Oh, whoops. Natalie couldn't make out what they were saying, but she suddenly felt a rush of adrenaline. Those aren't necessarily contradicting. You don't need the but. Shaking violently, she slowly started to slip out of her bonds. Those are totally effective bonds. You know, last time I remember seeing somebody get strapped in at a hospital, they practically cut off the circulation. Because they know people will wiggle out of that shit. Believe me, they will go to the lengths of almost causing your hands and feet to fall off if they think that you are a threat to yourself or others. So, bullshit meter is at what number? One of the doctors moved to hold her down, but then hesitated to do so, even though most trained professionals would just launch themselves down and say, "Sit the fuck down, bitch!" and then knock her ass out with a sedative. Like, Natalie watched as all three of the doctors back away in unison. No! No, 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 no. No. That is not how it works. Maybe if they're, like, first day people and they've never realized that, oh shit, somebody's, like, actually crazy. Like, this is just such utter bullshit. I cannot suspend my disbelief any further over the cliff without releasing my last finger. You are pushing it too far. Pull it back. Add a little bit of realism. This is meant to be a spooky story. One of the underlying things with fear is when something is based in reality. That's why shit like murderers scare people. That's why shit like breaking and enterings scare people. That's why people with unknown mental disorders that lash out and attack people scare people. Why? Because it is something grounded in reality that people don't understand. And what we don't understand, we tend to fear or, dislike. You have to have some grounding in reality if you're gonna do horror. That's why you have, like, say, Outlast set in an asylum. Why? Because an asylum is a real place filled with people with varying degrees of mental illness, some of which can be extremely violent. Hence why when one of the random inmates that are around the place lashes out at you, it scares the fuck out of you, because you don't know who's gonna harm you and who's not, because of the unpredictability. And because, oh yeah, this is shit that could happen. Realism works better with horror. Or should I say, horror works better with realism. The closer to being grounded in reality your horror is, the more likely you are to actually unnerve people. The more likely you are to actually scare people. That's why this, website is creepypasta, internet horror stories. I swear some people forget that this is meant to be a site for scary stories, not your gory OC fan fiction, or, well, it's not really fan fiction, is it? Not your gory OC bullshit. This is asinine. There's only so far fiction can go before people stop being able to follow along with it. It would be different if, say, this was completely based in fantasy. Then maybe it would be a little bit easier to push the envelope. But no, you decided to ground this in some form of reality and not bother to think of the implications surrounding that reality. You cannot just have incompetent doctors everywhere. There might be a incompetent doctor, or an arrogant doctor, which his arrogance leads to incompetence. Or she. I'm not gonna be sexist here. But like, just make it believable. This is not believable. She sat on the edge of the bed, and I think they forgot a word. She sat on the edge of the bed, and the IV tubes from her arm and the mask from her face. Yeah, you're missing part of that sentence. I don't know which part. I'm not gonna add it for you. Just proofread. She got to her feet and started to stumble towards them. Ooh, terrifying. Her breath hitched and her vision was blurry. Went blurry. Why does my eye do this every time? I think I need to call an optometrist. She was vaguely aware by then that she was chuckling like a madman. But suddenly she felt a searing pain in her chest. She gripped her chest in agony. You could have said gripped it. It's implied that it's her chest because it's literally the next sentence. And dropped to her knees. She coughed up blood and fell prostrate. I thought that said prostate. Fell prostrate on the floor. The fuck were you even trying to write? And blacked out. So terrifying. These asterisks are really pissing me off. They are the most minor thing in this, and they're pissing me off the most. Natalie woke up slowly and groggily sometime later. That's kind of... Slowly is implied if you use groggily. Just pro tip. She found herself back in bed, and a doctor sitting beside it. I'm so sorry, Natalie. Something went horribly wrong. Oh, God. Natalie didn't know why, but she felt a tremendous amount of hatred towards the doctor. Gee, it's almost like you're pissed off that he could be one of the reasons why you're strapped to a bed. He could have been the guy operating on you. He could have been the guy that tried to restrain you but backed the fuck off. I don't know which one this is. Could be literally any doctor in the building. Just like you probably don't even know which doctor it is, Natalie. Because you were on a bunch of drugs. God. He took notice of her disgust and looked away instinctively. You weren't supposed to wake up while we... I should still do the voice. You weren't supposed to wake up while we were giving you the doses for your mental state. Wait, that wasn't the voice I gave him. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. The doctor continued. We aren't sure how it affected you, but we have a feeling we are going to find out. I got a feeling that this story is bullshit, and I'm getting really sick of reading it. I've been at this for 1.5 hours. It's supposed to be a 19-minute story, but I can't stop getting mad at it. He paused for a moment before taking out a small mirror. The entire time, he looked away from her. Regrettably, the medication impacted your appearance as well. Natalie looked at herself in the mirror, and her eyes widened. Her eyes were completely green. She noticed she still had the stitches in her mouth as well. Yeah, because they totally wouldn't have cut them out and then, disinfected the wounds, put gauze over it. Nah. They just, stripped her naked, put her in a gown, and strapped her to a bed. This is fucking infuriating. But for some reason, she couldn't help but feel overjoyed. Her heart rate began to rise again. She gave a low chuckle. The doctor looked on in shock as Natalie quickly moved towards him. Yeah, don't strap her back to the bed after she easily climbed out during surgery. Wait, I don't think it was surgery. I think she was just, getting injected with shit. Comment taken back. Because I'm not going to say rescind twice in a row. I retract my comment. There we go. Until she was close enough for him to feel her breath. They've also added details. This is kind of weird. It's very weird. And a lot of the details are oddly sexual, and it's very weird. "Doctor?" she began, still chuckling. He trembled slightly and pressed a button under this. And pressed a button on the underside of the monitor. My birds just flew. One sec. Hey! Hey, what are you doing? Come on. Don't be like that. Come on. Here, buddy. Put your buddy back up. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Okay, my hands don't smell gross, they just feel gross. That's weird. Alright. Let's finish this shit. I'm gonna try and refrain from making any further comments, because Jesus Christ, we are not really close to the end like I thought we were. I'm still gonna try. Wish me luck. Pressing a button on the underside of the monitor. "Yes?" he stammered in reply. "Your time is up." I'm not going to grab my sunglasses just to make that cringy joke. Instead, you will have my cringy ass air sunglass. A loud scream was heard through the halls of the facility. 2 security guards rushed into the room, kicking open the door. Blood. Blood was the first thing they saw. Blood on the walls, on the bed, on the floor. To the window, to the wall, till the sweat drips down my balls. God, my jaw hurts. Even on the ceiling. Yeah, they definitely corrected that. Natalie had strapped the doctor to her bed, and the bed was bent at a sharp angle, and the doctor's spine was completely snapped. What the fuck? They got rid of the Dr. Sandwich line. It used to say that it was bent almost into a sandwich. No, I'm not making that up. I'm actually mad they removed that one. That was funny shit. That made this classic. What the hell? That's not okay. No. Shame on you, corrector. Shame. Blood poured from his eyes, nose, and mouth. You cut off every orifice. God damn it, you asshole. And there, in the corner, was the murderer, happily drawing her gruesome pictures on the wall in blood, alongside the hastily scrawled phrase, "Your time is up." Swear to God, nobody ever say this to me ever again in person. I will reflexively deck him in the throat, like a knee-jerk reaction. And I'll have to very sadly apologize and explain, yeah, you don't understand. I have PTSD from this shit. This made me so angry that I can't help but reflexively beat the shit out of somebody for repeating it. Ugh. Shit is killing me. Shit is very literally killing me. I feel myself dying inside. Natalie slowly turned to look at the guards, and a wide, crazy grin spread across her face. "Hello, friends. Would you like to play?" Aw, they fucking cut off a lot of it. And with that, Natalie began laughing uncontrollably. The guards quickly drew their guns. Are you sure this ain't SWAT team? I don't know if a hospital has... Oh, well, around here maybe. But, like... Well, no, not a mental asylum, which supposedly is what she's in. But before they could act, Natalie charged at one of them. One of the guards fired around, but Natalie was able to dodge it. Okay, they kind of fixed it, so she's not, like, OP Matrix bullshitting all this. She grabbed a large knife from a sheath on his pocket. Why would they have knives? If they have guns, why would they have knives? Maybe a nightstick? I've never heard of a guard having a fucking knife. Like, somebody comment down below. Is there such thing as security guards having knives? Sheathed knives. Not like a pocket knife. A sheathed knife. Like a hunting knife. Sheathed knife. What the I'm calling bullshit. I am calling hard bullshit on this. I need to move this pop filter so it's actually, like, effectively blocking my voice and stopping all the... from a sheath on his pocket and slashed it right across his waistline. Blood and organs flooded out. Again, how long is this knife? Why would they have basically a hunting knife? Why? They have fucking guns. Again, is this SWAT? Not security guards? Because maybe SWAT would do this. Would have knives and shit. Would have, like, all forms of weaponry on hand. But I don't see a security guard having a fucking sheathed knife and a gun. Why? What is the point? Annie collapsed to the ground. She inhaled deeply, loving the damp stench of death. The remaining guard shook with fear and dropped his... Morons! Morons everywhere. This is not... No! No! Bad writer. Bad. This is a no-no. No. That officer would not get scared. He would hold his fucking trigger down until his gun was empty. You have never met a security guard or... Pardon me, you've never met anybody with a gun, have you? This is such bullshit. This is utter fucking bullshit. And it's enraging. It is this is physically painful to read. This is more painful than the writing of Detroit Become Human and Heavy Rain combined. And anybody that likes this story, no. Go read a fucking book. Now. She slowly walked up to him and placed the tip of the knife against his chest. Your time is up. She slowly slid the knife down his chest all the way to the end of his abdomen. His organs spilled out onto the floor and he collapsed, dead. Oh, joy. Now she's gonna fuck up her mom just because she's sick and tired of her daughter's bullshit. Hello.
Said Dylan, tomorrow at like 12:45, what are you doing?
That's loud.
Nothing.
Oh dear. Natalie's mother had been sleeping soundly in her room beside her husband. She awoke to the sound of knocking on her door. She groggily got up and walked out of the bedroom. See, you did it fine right there. What the... Holding my phone. And walked out of the bedroom to the front door. It was pouring outside, and thunder boomed in the distance. She approached the door, but paused before grabbing the knob. 'Cause, you know, a dark and stormy night. Oh, it's a spooky story. Gotta have a dark and stormy night. 'Cause symbolism. I'm sorry, but you know what? This story has worked my last nerve. So, like, every little tiny thing on top of it is just... It's adding a turd sprinkle to the garbage, the refuse pile. She approached the door, but paused before grabbing the knob. Ooh la la. She detected a faint sound of insane laughter. Is that faint enough? It's probably not, because how do you do faint, insane laughter? Do you mean chuckling? Do you mean snickering? Because it's a form of laughter. It's just subtler laughter. It is more subtle laughter. Sitting here correcting the grammar and then fucking up my own. Ugh. She detected a faint sound of psychotic chuckling. There, that sounds better. The rain and thunder seemed to quiet down suddenly. She pressed her ear against the door and listened closely. Yes, because you can totally turn it down. Or did your tinnitus kick in? Because that happens. What are you going to throw at me?
Nothing.
Okay.
I forgot that we said we'd take Colton every Saturday from 11 till Des gets off work. So William's going to pick him up at 11.
Oops.
And then when we go to do Lorna's, Dylan will stay with Colton until Des gets off work.
Okay, yeah, because he knows how to work VR and the PlayStation.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We got it covered.
Okay.
I'm going to take a shower. I feel gross.
Sounds good. You do that. She pressed her ear against the door and listened closely. Hello, mother. Oh, that might be. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just... Alright. Oh, God, that's gonna be so loud. I hope it's... You know what, it should be okay. Maybe if I just... Do I need to loosen this? Is that my problem? No, it's not this one. That's the problem. Whatever, fuck it. Fuck it. Doing it live. A voice from the other side called out. Natalie burst through the door, wielding 2 knives. Where the fuck she get the other knife? Where the fuck did she get the other knife? I am so fucking done with this shit. Her mother stumbled back, hitting her head against a nearby coat rack, one of the hooks penetrating her skull, and she bled considerably from the resulting wound. She fell to the ground, paralyzed, but still conscious. Totally. You know, that wouldn't sever the spinal cord from the head at all. Not at all. Was still conscious, lying in a pool of her own blood. Natalie towered over her, and then she knelt slowly to meet her mother at eye level. I feel like I keep having a fly hit me in my cheek. Knelt slowly to meet her at eye level and displayed her blood-soaked blades proudly. I was suffering, Mother, Natalie cooed. She ran the tip of the knife across her mother's cheek, cutting it slightly. Natalie tilted her head. But you did nothing. All her mother could do was shake and gasp like a fish out of water. Oh, but you kept that line? You got rid of the bed was nearly folded into a sandwich, but you kept lay there shake and gasp like a fish out of water. Really? Bad. Bad author? Bad corrector. Bad. For a second, thought stream went down. Oops. My yelling broke my own stream. Oh my god. All her mother could do, Natalie grabbed her mother and gently laid her flat on the ground. She already fell over to the ground. Oh, well, it didn't say it fell flat, so... Fine, I'll let you have that one. From there, she straddled her again, cutting a V into her chest. Mother could only gasp and shake. Again, quit this copy-paste line bullshit. Quit it. It was fine when it was like 1, but this is like the 4th. Stop it. As the life drained from her, she choked and gurgled and her breast became labored. She should be dead. She dead. It would not be dragged out this long, especially after a spinal / skull injury. No, she would be unconscious or dead. Sorry, this story is pissing me off. Natalie knew she didn't have much time left. She's dead. She didn't have any time left. She's dead. You killed her. She's dead. Dead. She proceeded to forcibly open Mother's chest cavity with a loud crack, reached in and grabbed her still beating heart with her bare hands, pulse growing further and further apart. They would not be pulsing. She would be dead. I will not stop stressing this. She's dead. She stared at her mother directly in the face. She took her final breath. Sweet dreams, she said to her corpse. Your time was up. Shut the fuck up, Natalie. Just shut the fuck up. Nobody likes you, Natalie. Nobody. Anybody that does is lying. Anybody that says they like you is lying, Natalie. I'm so sorry if anybody in the audience is actually named Natalie. I'm sure people love you very much. This Natalie in the story, nobody gives a fuck about. Nobody. And anybody that says they do, you're full of it. You are lying. You are sympathetic to what happened to her. You're not sympathetic to the character, because the character is a pile of nothing. A pile of nothing but trauma. Trauma portrayed as a person. And poorly. I will not stop stressing that either. This is the worst handled fucking story ever. The only worse one was fucking Adam. You can look that up yourself. I'm not going into that shit. She put the heart into her mother's mouth, patted her cheek softly. Ugh, it's unnecessary. Stood up. She wasn't done yet. Of course not. Natalie's father, David, had stirred awake and had realized that his wife had not returned to bed yet. His eyes had only just adjusted to the darkness when he suddenly noticed Natalie standing at his bedside with a crazed smirk plastered on her face and her newly green-tinted eyes glowing in the darkness. You know what? Why the fuck are her eyes suddenly green? No, really, what injection, besides Hulk serum, turned your eyes fucking green? Somebody tell me. I want to know. And it has to be, something not injected into your iris. It has to be a chemical that is injected into your body somewhere beside your eye that makes them do that. Because they never said they injected her eye. They said they rubbed shit on her skin and injected her with stuff, but they never said where. And because they didn't specify the eye, I'm going to assume they didn't, stick one in her eye. Because what fucking good would that do either? I'm not kidding. Somebody, please, I dare you, take the time to explain how any of this story makes sense. Any of it. And do try and explain to me how, the rape is handled well. Because, pro tip, it's not. It's not. His eyes, bedside standing at his bedside. What the fuck? Didn't it originally say bedside table? I'm pretty sure it was supposed to. Like, whatever. With a crazed smirk plastered on her face and her newly green-tinted eyes glowing in the dark. She was covered in blood. Excuse me. And the scent was unbearable. She frowned dramatically. Oh dear, Mother's gone. I wonder who will get the money. What the fuck does that mean? Oh, wait. Yeah, okay, I guess I kind of get it. Natalie jeered. She swiftly grabbed her father's forehead, laughing maniacally. Yeah, no, they spelled that right, I think. Maniacally. It's all you ever cared about anyway. Yeah, that's what I thought she was going for. Her father, unlike her mother, was a fighter. Where the fuck did this come from? Again, it would have been understandable if you did more than just imply that he hit her with a book. But, like, we have no reason to believe he was ever a fighter. You described him as a bitching baby of a man. So this is like, I'm not gonna call it a MacGuffin, and I'm not gonna call it a Deus Ex or whatever. I'm gonna call it a, what the fuck was that shit? I don't know if anybody saw that on, like, camera, but, like, a big fat, like, shiny something just flew by me. Pretty sure my camera did not catch that. What the fuck? This is what you call whipped out of the sleeve. Sprung up, grabbed Natalie by the neck and threw her on the ground. He started to stomp on her chest until she coughed up blood, and he stared down at her. Doesn't it feel good, Daddy? She laughed in spite of the violence and coughed up more blood. After all, he never seemed to mind doing it all those years ago, did you? He narrowed his eyes. You aren't my daughter. A wider smirk spread across her face, and she peered at him with her luminous eyes, blood dripping down. Why the fuck do they glow? What did they do? Inject her with fucking glow stick shit? Which, mind you, would kill you. It would kill you if you drank it. Well, I guess it depends on how much you drink and how small you are. It'd be the same as if, like, a 5-year-old downed half a bottle of vodka. Dead. You gotta, like, compare it weight and whatnot to possibility of it being able to just go through the body. Blood dripping down her mouth. You're right, I'm not. She suddenly tripped him, causing him to fall hard to the floor, scrambled to her feet, knives in hand. They say the bigger you are, the harder they fall. Witty, because, can't have a fight without wit. Thought this was supposed to be a horror story. While he was winded, she grabbed a pillow and stuffed it into his face and then stomped on it harder and harder until loud cracking noises could be heard. When she finally pulled the pillow away, her father's face was gruesomely mutilated and he was making muffled noises and crying in agony. What's the matter, Daddy? Pain too much for you? She shoved both the knives in his stomach, left them there, then moved to rip one of the large, heavy wooden poles from the bed. Where the fuck did this super strength come from? What did they do? Give her Captain America serum? Or was I right and they gave her Hulk serum? Is she gonna turn into the fucking Hulk? Are we gonna get Natalie walking down the street waving goodbye to her house? Like, what the fuck is going on? God, and I thought Homestuck 2 made no fucking sense. She sat down on her father's legs, whipped her the knives. Gonna need these. Chuckled, sat down upon the pole, laid on his legs, started to rock back while sitting down, weight from her body, and the pole started to squeeze his innards up through his body. That's not how that fucking works. It would take an insane amount of pressure, like, say, a truck running over you from your feet to your fucking head. Even then, your organs would not spurt out of your mouth. They would push up into your abdomen and compress your lungs to the point you suffocate until the car tire rolls over your head and crushes your brain. I'm sorry, this shit is just... Yeah, wooden poles from the bed. There's no fucking way there's enough weight unless it's like a giant piece of solid oak. And even then, it better be fucking enormous. Like, I just... So fucking stupid. So fucking stupid. He started to gag and blood poured from his mouth. Breath went silenced and he bit. And she hit a bit of a snag. Herm, come on! She snarled as she forced herself to rock back one more way. Suddenly, organs burst out of his mouth. Again, not how it fucking works. Not how it works. At all. Fucking eyes would pop out of your head first from all the pressure. And 2, it would just compress the utter fuck out of your organs. They wouldn't squish out of your goddamn throat. And again, I highly doubt that the bedpost is heavy enough. Like I said, it would take something like a fucking truck rolling its tire over you. The nasty gore piled onto the floor on the sides of his face. She nodded to his carcass and started to walk out. Your time was up, Daddy. So fucking stupid. Finally, this would be her favorite part. She quietly snuck down to her brother's room. Bullshit. I'm sure that ripping that fucking wooden pole from the bed was totally quiet. Didn't wake anybody at all. Same with slamming your mom against the fucking coat rack in the living room. Totally doesn't make any noise at all. There's no way that you can just silently do shit after this. Or quietly do shit after this. No. 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 At least we're almost fucking done with this thing. Silently opening the door, blood dripped from her knife. Fuck you for not capitalizing anything else. Making a low tapping sound as the droplets hit the hardwood. Her brother wasn't in bed. It was apparent that he must be hiding somewhere. No shit, that's implied. Fucking... She grinned. Oh, dear brother, come now. She started to walk inside. All I want to do is have a little fun. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Oh, you don't cut out that laughter. It's so fucking stupid. As she stepped in more, she listened closely for any sounds, any breathing, any moving. Yeah, we get it. She sniffed the air for his putrid scent. Yeah, because you're suddenly, like, what, a fucking half dog? Go fuck yourself. I know I said I wasn't gonna say that earlier, but, like, fuck this. Fuck this chick. No. It's fucking stupid. And the closer she listened, she finally noticed something. A faint breathing noise. Whack! Bonk! She fell to the ground, trembling. Her brother was behind her with now bloodied baseball bat. He was glaring down with anger, panting in rage. She tried to slowly get up, but he hit her again and again and again. Mother always did like you best, you bitch! He hit her hard one last time before taking a breather. She was bleeding heavily. Her green eyes drooped and glowing faintly in the darkness. I feel like those are lyrics to a song. She felt weak and looked closer up at the ceiling. She recalled the days she had spent in here, being tortured, having to go through it for 4 years, looking at the same damn ceiling. It sent a sudden rush of energy into her body and started to stand, laughing insanely. Ha 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 ha. Her brother went to hit her again, but she used both of her knives to block it. Knife. No. Just no. Hey, Dylan. Do you think that if you held up 2 knives, you could deflect somebody hitting you with a baseball bat? Or would the knives just get plunged into your face, and then you also get hit in the face with a bat? You'd either have to be really goddamn strong while wielding them knives, or them knives are short swords. That's my logic. Also, what the fuck is this spelling? You're going to hell. Oh, those are 2 L's. I thought it said Heil. I was gonna say, really? Now we get Nazi propaganda up in this bitch? Really? Don't need that. Fucking Disney already copyright struck one of my gameplays. I don't need somebody flagging me for hate speech, too. Like, no. You're going to hell, brother. Like, what the... Just type it in all caps. Same diff. With a large push, she sent her brother flying onto the bed. He hit his head against the wall and growled angrily, about to lunge at her when she stabbed the 2 knives in his arms, keeping him pinned to the wall. Those gotta be yeah, no. I'm right, they gotta be short swords. They're not knives. They're some kind of short sword. There's no way, like, a kitchen knife or... Well, maybe a hunting knife could... No, I'm not gonna whip out a knife on stream just to measure it against my arm. So, maybe a hunting knife, but a hunting knife also wouldn't stop a fucking bat from hitting you in the head. I don't know. This story is just... It's a mind fucker. It is literally just going at my brain, hoping that I will just die from brain loss. This is instant death disease. Bad joke. He screamed and struggled rapidly. Let's see what we can use here. She started walking around the room and smirked, seeing a simple butter knife on his bed. She picked it up and walked over to him. They say the eyes are the softest organs on the body. She slowly licked the knife. Soft as butter. Ugh. He looked in horror, trying to get away as she started to dig out his eyes with the knife. He shrieked loudly and she quickly tied a cloth around his mouth. Now. We can't have you waking the neighbors. Yeah, 'cause you and your dad's fighting / you slamming your mom into the wall. Yeah, none of that loud noise. None of the obscenely obnoxious laughter. None of that's gonna alert him. But your brother's screaming is. Got it. You stupid fuck. He wasn't able to see anything. The pain was unbearable. Blood leaked violently from his eye sockets. He would cry, but was now incapable. I mean, you still have your tear ducts. Ripping out the eyeballs doesn't stop your tear ducts from existing. Small factoid here. Your eyes and your tear ducts are not the same organ. They share a space occupation. They are good neighbors, but they are not the same. Okay? Good. She dug around for more items and picked up a pair of scissors. She walked over to him, crawling over him. I thought he was pinned to the wall. How are you crawling over him if he's pinned to the fucking wall? Is he like half on the bed? I'm very confused. You don't do very well at describing the scene. Oh my god. I think you need to cut loose, brother. This is a total ripoff of Origin of Laughing Jack. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. You know what? I can make balloon animals. Like, fuck, I'm getting those vibes. Stabbed the scissors into his gut and he cried out in a muffled scream of pain. She treated him like arts and crafts, cutting through his skin like paper. She lifted up his large chest and smirked wickedly. You know what I love? Macaroni art. Ugh. Fucking. She started to cut the intestine into sections. This might be a little too big to put on a plate, though. She could hear her... she could hear his brother. Oh no, should the tranny make tranny jokes? Should I? No, I'm not gonna. Foaming blood from the mouth. However, he had to swallow the blood back because of the cloth around his mouth. How? Like, I'm pretty sure he would just be like vomiting and choking right now. Doesn't that taste good? She licked his blood off her fingers. I'm sure they're covered in shit, too, because you're cutting up his intestine, you fucking idiot. Ugh. Oh yeah, this is also going to be real funny when she goes and gouges out her own eye. You also got shit-covered hands. Prepare for infection, fucker. I sure know I like it. Oh, she licked his blood off her fingers. I sure know I like it. She's apparently saying that. Because this person's an idiot and doesn't know where the fuck to end and start their goddamn quotations. He let out another muffled scream. She went down. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, okay. My mind was being dirty. Okay. She went down to his toes and started cracking them and ripping them off. Oh my god, why? What the fuck? What is the point? Just kill him. Just kill him. I get it. 4 years of torture. It sucks. It's horrible. It's horrendous. The PTSD is, like, exhausting to deal with. But, like, just kill the fucker and get it out of your system. Why sit there and do, like, menial little, like, damaging shit after you've yanked his fucking organs out? You realize he's already dead. The whole snapping of his toes isn't gonna actually do anything. He's dead. Just like when you slammed your mom's head into the co-rack. Dead. Ripped out your brother's intestines. Dead. Like, they're torturing him does nothing at this point. Pro tip, it does not take a lot for the body to bleed out. You only have to lose about 4 liters of blood to die. It only takes 3 to knock you unconscious. He only got about 6 liters in the average adult human. So, like, considering this kid is only a little bit older than her, 5 years, so, like, he's 21, about the average adult male, I'm gonna assume he's, like, 5'8", 5'7", because that's, I think, still the average. So, yeah, he's dead. He's dead. He is straight dead. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. He's dead. I watch somebody go, it's a story. It's a story. Yeah, my realm of disbelief, my ability to accept certain things in this world, or this setting, stopped when the fucking doctors backed off from her when she slipped out of her bonds. Stopped, like, way before then, actually, now that I think about it. But that's where I can roughly pinpoint acknowledging that I stopped being able to push my suspense of disbelief. One by one, after a while, his screams grew futile. He wouldn't be screaming. He is dead. You will not convince me otherwise. He's straight up fucking dead. His throat was raw and bloody by now. Probably long before. He's already fucking dead. Next, she worked on his fingers. Does no good. The gurgling became louder and he started to squirm. He wouldn't squirm. He'd be dead. He was choking on his own blood. Would have died long before choking on his blood. Would have choked to death on his own shit as you cut up his intestines, you fucking idiot. You big, dumb, fucking idiot. She pulled the cloth down, blood poured from his mouth, turned his head to the side, and turned his head to the side and vomited violently. So wait, she turned his head and he vomited, or she turned his head and she vomited? Who the fuck vomited? Oh wait, he wouldn't because he's dead. There, brother, she said, patting his head. Eat this and feel better. She stuffed one of his fingers in his mouth, making it jam into his throat. He choked and slowly died. He was dead when you cut up his intestines and he choked on his own shit. You dumbass. Your time was up. I'm gonna fucking throw you. I know you are not a real living person. I know you are a fictional work of art. But, like, if I could grab you, hoist you over my 5'5" head, or my 5'5" ass. My head is not 5'5". I don't have that big of a head. If I could just hoist your ass over my shortness and huck you as far as fucking possible, I would. Without hesitation, I would yoink you and yeet your ass. Yeet you the fuck out of here. 'Cause you are beyond aggravating. I want to physically hurt you. And you are a fictional character. The girl known as Natalie. Nobody gives a fuck what she's known as. Nobody. The whole story is basically from her perspective. Nobody gives a shit. We knew her name in the beginning. We know her name at the end. Doesn't matter. It literally does not matter. The girl walking into her room, dripping blood. Great keeping with, the fucking tense. Great job. Pretty sure you jumped around much earlier, but, like, you really dropped the ball right fucking there. Off to the corner, she saw it, her stuffed giraffe, which, at least I can say they used Chekhov's gun correctly. They brought it up in the beginning, they brought it up in the end. They didn't just throw it in, I guess. It held no real significance for the entire story, other than she cuddled with it at 16, I guess, because that's supposed to be such a big shocker. I'm 24 and I've got a shit ton of plushies. Like, it's not a kid thing. Fuck off. She knelt down, stared at it, then, without a word, stood back up, walked into the bathroom. Staring at herself, covered in blood, she heard a faint ticking noise. She looked down and saw a pocket watch. Why is there a pocket watch in the bathroom? Why the fuck? See, this is where you should have used Chekhov's gun. You should have brought up the pocket watch in the beginning. Completely ignore the fucking giraffe. Or have the giraffe too. You can have both. You can have more than one Chekhov's gun. So long as you fire them in the end. That's all you gotta do. But, you can't bother to bring up the pocket watch. No, let's make the giraffe important. Let's make the stuffed giraffe the important item. Not the pocket watch she's about to jam in her goddamn eye socket. Stared at its hand, slowly turning, listening to the ticking for what seemed like an eternity. The story's gone on for a fucking eternity. She took out... Not even a capitalization. Fuck you. She took out one of her now red knives as it heavily dripped blood onto the counter. When did she put it away? She never said she put it away. Why would she take it back out if it was never put away? It's not that hard to reread and make sure shit makes sense. How is this a classic creepypasta? How? How is this considered good? Such bullshit. Fucking fan wiggling my monitor. Ugh. God. Don't hit the mic. Oh boy. She grabbed the pocket watch. She grabbed the pocket watch and disassembled the watch until only the small clock was left. You could have said disassembled it. Time makes you live through the torture, she said, slowly bringing the knife up to her eye. Slowly progressing through life, being controlled by society. We live in a society. She started to slowly dig it into her eye as the vision in her left eye grew blurry and red. No, it would grow black. You would not see anything anymore. No red, no color, nothing. You would see literal black void. Endless. And you know the worst part? You wouldn't even see like those weird trippy things happening anymore. When you close your eyelids and you can see shit moving around. Can't even see that anymore. Nope. Literal black. Emptiness. Until you find you no longer have a purpose. You never had a purpose except to be, this person's claim to fame. And even then, nobody knows who the actual author is because you've been rewritten so many goddamn times. I think C-Dot was the original owner / writer. I think. She felt her eyes start to come free from its socket, blood pouring in the sink. It wouldn't necessarily pour. It's a vicious circle. She felt it dangle out of her socket, a sharp pain where it was connecting in her head. I don't know if the optic nerve can actually, feel shit. I'm pretty sure it's just a literal visual nerve. I don't know. Time does not speed up, does not slow down, it is violent. Time is not violent. Time prolongs violence, you dumb fuck. I'm trying to avoid saying cunt. Trying and failing. She grabbed onto the corner of her eye and tore it right off, the eye falling in the sink. I thought you could feel a sharp pain where it was. That would have, no offense, made you double over. Oh my god, I'm peeking my microphone. I need to fucking stop. Makes you live through the torture over and over again. She started to place the clock in her eye. Don't clean it, don't disinfect it, don't sanitize it, don't let it heal. Nah, none of that shit. Just rip it out, put a clock in. Nothing at all is gonna happen from that. Especially after, your hands are covered in blood and your brother's shit. Not letting that go. You cut up intestines. You get shit on your hands. Enough said. What do you think comes out of intestines? I'll tell you what. It's more than just blood when you cut them open. I thought that said cock. Oh my god. Unable to fast forward away from it. There was a squishing sound and drips of blood until it seemed like the clock fit perfectly in her socket. There's no way it would, because I'm pretty sure your eye socket... First of all, you gotta hold open the eyelid so that you can shove it on in there. And then I'm pretty sure you don't just wedge it in there. I'm pretty sure you should have some sort of backing so that it doesn't just go plop right back into the socket. I've never lost an eye. I don't know that I can recall of anybody who has lost an eye, so I'm no expert on what happens when you lose an eye. But, pretty sure you don't just pull shit out, wedge shit in. Pretty sure there's more to it than that. I am Clockwork. bullshit asterisks. The young 16-year-old girl, formerly known as Natalie, walked away from her burning house. The flames engulfed everything, and inside, the giraffe slowly burned along with the carcasses of her family. Oh no, the giraffe, no. It was so special and important. You know, everybody loved it. Even though it had no actual importance in the story. Some say she still lives on, carrying her insanity with her. Yes, because insanity just eventually leaves after you've gone and murdered your entire family. Because it's not just, you know, assumed that she'll stay insane. Not at all. Not at all. We totally believe that she is now a sane and logical person after that. Hence why you have to clarify that she's still psycho. You idiot. Leaving so many dead, saying she decided when their time should come to an end. The only way to detect her presence is if you're cuddled close in the covers at night, sleeping soundly. Only way to detect. Sleeping soundly. No. But in the darkness, she watches. She determines. You hear ticking. I am ripping off the fucking alligator / crocodile from fucking Peter Pan. And turning it into a bitch with a clock eye. A 16-year-old bitch with a clock eye that a bunch of people keep drawing porn of. You freaks. And you see a green flash of that putrid clock eye. Why would the clock suddenly be green? When the fuck did the clock become green? How do you see a green flash of the clock eye when it's not the clock eye that's green? All I'm asking you to do is go back and read and make sure your shit makes sense. Can you please do that? Can you just manage to make it make sense? Like, at this point, I don't care if it's completely out of the realm of reality. Just at least make the story make sense in its own concept. Like, in its own little enclosed world. Make it make sense. I don't care if you have to put it on another separate planet for it to make sense. Just make it make sense. Please. Before I go insane and become a creepypasta character. If she's there, you know, your time is up. We are finally done. Finally. I've never been so disappointed. I have no words. I have literally no words besides this shit was painful. This was physically painful. My voice hurts. My head hurts. My eyes hurt from having to stare at this screen. My tinnitus is fucking bothering me. For no reason. And it is, like, beyond late. I think I'm gonna take a break from creepypastas for a little while. I think this one broke me. I really do. I just... Stories like this give me very little hope in the creativity of people online. It gives me very little hope. It doesn't help that it's Jeff the Killer mixed with Hulk serum, mixed with boobs. But, like, this character is literally just living traumatization. Like, she has no actual personality. She has no real characterization. All we know is that her name is Natalie. She was raped by her brother, apparently beaten by her dad, and neglected by her mom. That's it. We literally don't... Oh, and she likes to draw gore because she was beaten. That somehow correlates to her suddenly liking to draw gore. Other than that, we don't know anything else she likes. We don't know, like, what her actual relationship with her boyfriend is. Like, why does he suddenly just turn around and go, I don't like your creepiness. I don't like that you draw people getting mutilated, and I don't like that you won't talk to me about your problems. Like, what the fuck? Where did that suddenly come from? They've apparently been together for a long time. At least that's what I'm getting from the story. So it's like, why suddenly now? Has it actually just been a really short relationship and he suddenly realizes, oh fuck, I don't actually know what I just got myself into? And this chick seems crazy? Like, a little bit more elaboration there would have been nice, I guess. But like, we don't know what she likes to do outside of draw people getting mutilated. We know that she liked her boyfriend Chris. And then he dumped her. And then she did the I'm not gonna self-harm, but here I am self-harming thing. There's literally nothing to this character besides I'm beaten down by the world. That's not a character. I'm sorry, Natalie is not a character. She is humanized. She is a Gajinka of trauma. It's fucking stupid. This whole story was stupid. The thing with the doctors was retarded. What doctor suddenly just goes, oh, I don't think I can trust my years of medical practice and restrain this person. You know, make sure their bonds are actually tight so that we can do important medical shit. Like, no. The whole thing with the mental hospital and the psychiatrist, bullshit. Utter bullshit. The whole thing with the parent, or not the parents, with the teachers noticing that she's having a difficult time and then just letting it slide. Not sending her off to the counselor, not saying go to the office. Nothing. No. Just get on with your work. Nah, you don't understand what we're talking about? Okay, just sit in the corner. Just sit in the corner, Natalie. This whole story is fuck you, Natalie. That's literally what the whole story feels like. I'm gonna call it a night. It's been 2.5 hours. My throat hurts. I've been your narrator, Fallout Sheppy. And fuck this story. With a cactus.